With Nintendo's impending and highly anticipated sequel to the third best-selling video game console of all time, slated to come out in 2025. Of course, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, but after a long 6 years and many different, very different models, is the Nintendo Switch worth buying in 2024? Thank you so much for checking out today's video, and if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Also turn the bell on to be notified when my videos are released. I go and do live streams right here on YouTube and on TikTok, so make sure you follow the social media links down below. So if you're watching this video, you're probably asking yourself, is the Nintendo Switch worth buying in 2024? Before we get into answering that question, I do want to say that if you're here wondering if you should get the PS5 or the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch, don't. Comparing those systems is absolutely not the thing to do. You're comparing apples to grapes. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go straight into, is the Nintendo Switch worth buying in 2024? So to really answer this question, we have to start out by talking about what makes the Nintendo Switch so great and what it continues to do better than any other console in the marketplace. Honestly, the best thing about this is it's half handheld, half at home console. In 2017, when this system came out, it was a true game changer, knowing that you could take it on the go or you could just play it at home, which in my personal opinion is what killed the Nintendo DS, the 3DS, the whole line of handhelds really died once the Nintendo Switch came out. People can get very busy or just don't like the fact that if they go to a friend's house, you gotta carry the box and you have to carry the wires and you have to carry all this stuff just to go play at a friend's house. Nintendo really targeted two different markets simultaneously, and don't even get me started on the fact that they literally made a Nintendo Switch specifically for handheld. The next thing I want to cover is the amazing game list that the console has. Throughout the lifespan, Nintendo has put out some of the best first-party games anybody's ever seen. There's no denying how great The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is, Tears of the Kingdom, the Splatoon series, and yes, even Animal Crossing. Adding on to the best first-party game, the Switch also includes some of the most amazing indie games you can think of. There are so many good indie games on the Nintendo Switch that literally every gamer can find one and just fall in love with. My personal favorite part of the Nintendo Switch is the online aspect. For all those new to the Nintendo Switch, or you're thinking about getting, or even you're thinking about getting Nintendo Switch Online, it's absolutely amazing because you can play older games like games on the NES, the SNES, and even for an upcharge, you can play some of the best Nintendo 64 games and some Sega games. The reason why it's my favorite is because I grew up on the older style of Nintendo games, even though I'm actually really young. But my favorite games of all time are Super Mario Bros. 3, Punchout, which you can play those games on your Nintendo Switch. And to do that, the price isn't even that much. I believe it's $20 for a whole year of Nintendo Switch Online, so why wouldn't you get it? That's what I love most about the Nintendo Switch, is sometimes I get in this funk where all I want to do is play the old retro and classic games. I don't even want to touch any of the newer games. But then I also sometimes only want to play the newer games, like currently right now I'm playing Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It's absolutely amazing and it's great, and it's something I can't seem to stop playing. So the question is the Nintendo Switch worth buying in 2024? Absolutely. And I can understand why you'd sit here and think, do I really want to buy the console when the next console's coming out here soon? I will tell you though, we have not gotten an official release date as of this video on when the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out. A lot of reports have it in 2025, maybe at the end of 2024, but you should absolutely go buy a Nintendo Switch right now. There is little we know about the Nintendo Switch 2, and one of the biggest things that we hope for is we don't know if there's going to be backwards compatibility to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I will say games like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I'm sure, are going to come out on the Nintendo Switch 2, but what about Breath of the Wild? The Breath of the Wild came out when the Wii U came out. So games like that, we don't know are going to be backwards compatible, and that's one of the things that really worries me as somebody who loves the Nintendo Switch. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion alone, everybody's entitled to one, the Nintendo Switch is absolutely something you should get, because not only is it a fun system for you to play, it is a fun family-oriented gaming console. Not even family-oriented, you could bust it out at parties. Imagine being at a party and the board games aren't hitting. Bust out the Nintendo Switch, play Mario Kart, Mario Party, Super Smash Bros. Some of the best parties I've ever been to is the fact that we bust out the Nintendo Switch because we're all talking mad stuff and we see who's with it, and we have the funnest of Mario Kart parties, we have the funnest Super Smash Bros. Parties, so that's why I think you should absolutely buy a Nintendo Switch in 2024. I will say you should definitely not buy it new. And I will say definitely go through a trusted source. Don't just trust Facebook Marketplace. Go buy it used. Why do I say buy it used? Well, because a lot of times you can get a Nintendo Switch for a pretty good price used. And in my opinion, would you want to go buy a new PS4? Because essentially that's how old the Nintendo Switch is. Now, I understand that a lot of places have good deals on new Nintendo Switches. Like, go buy a Nintendo Switch and you get one of the top tier Nintendo Switch games. And I think if that's what you want to do, you should absolutely do it. But I think now that we're hitting the latter stages of the Nintendo Switch, used is definitely the way to go. I will say you should try your hardest to avoid the V1 Switch. And I'm not saying the V1 Switch is a bad option if it's out there, because those are a lot cheaper. But the battery life is just absolutely terrible for the Nintendo Switch V1. Now, if you're not sure what the difference between the V1 and the V2 is, I'll put a graph up right now. But if you go to a trusted game reseller, they'll tell you if it's a V1 or V2. And the V1, the battery is really bad, but if you're always on the go and you have a charger with you, that shouldn't be an issue. Or if you're just simply, we're going to play this at home, that's absolutely fine. You leave it plugged in, you have the Joy-Cons charging at all time, it should be no big deal. But in my opinion, I would try my hardest to avoid the V1 Switch if you're one of those people that are traveling all the time and I want to get the Nintendo Switch. If you're going to buy a Nintendo Switch, I would absolutely do the research on all the different types of Nintendo Switches. There's many variants, there's many different kinds of Nintendo Switches. I will simply go over the 3 main kinds of Nintendo Switches for you guys. This is not a detailed thing. This is just a quick overlance of what you should get. But definitely do your research on which one you want to get. So we will start with the OG Nintendo Switch. Now, the OG Nintendo Switch, I would say, is definitely 50-50 on 50% handheld, 50% at home. You can't go wrong with this Nintendo Switch. Again, you could find a V1 Switch super cheap, probably like $140, $150, and just play it at home, knowing the battery is going to not last me forever. So if I take it out, I might want to bring the charger or get a portable charger. But it does the job. It's something that I have. I actually have a V2 Switch, the one that has been showing in this video. That is a V2 Switch. I've had that for a little while. I've owned many different Nintendo Switches. I've owned all the Nintendo Switches, so that's why I feel like I can give my opinion on what's what. So the next one is the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now this one is mainly for handheld. I know a lot of people who have a normal Switch but want to get their kids the Switch Lite. This is super small. It does not project on the TV, but it is something super handheld. It's basically the Nintendo Switch handheld. It does the same games. It does essentially everything except for you cannot play it on a TV. I also know people who travel a lot who wanted to get this because it's very lightweight to pack. It doesn't come with all the accessories that a normal Nintendo Switch does. So if you are definitely a handheld type of person and you don't want something big, you don't want something big taking up your space, I would 100% get the Switch Lite. It actually comes in cheaper. I want to say probably, I mean, new is $200, so I can say used might be $100. I'm not too sure. You'd have to check on that. And then finally, the Switch OLED. The OLED came out a few years ago, and really, the biggest thing for the OLED is like 75% handheld, 15% at home. And I say that because really the only thing you're getting with the OLED is, I mean, yeah, stronger processing power, but that really doesn't matter to a Nintendo Switch. But it's a bigger screen. The brightness is amazing. I've owned an OLED before, and I will say, like, if you are like me and you can't see and you need that big screen, absolutely get the OLED. But when it's at home, it's just really bigger. That's about it. So I will say, if you're looking for something super big, super attractive, the OLED is going to do the job, and the brightness is really, really great. However, in my personal opinion, just go with a OG Nintendo Switch, whether it's V1, V2. I don't think they have V3s, but just go with that. Keep it at home or keep a charger with you at all times. Overall, this is a really good gaming system that I think everybody should have. It would scratch everybody's itch if you have one for new consoles, and again, it's super nostalgic. I definitely understand why it's one of the best video game systems of all time, just because of the longevity, just because of the games that come out. Real quick, I'll throw up 5 quick games that you should get if you get a Nintendo Switch. Now, these are all essentially, my opinion, the games I love, but you should obviously get Mario Kart 8, you should get Super Smash Bros. Definitely get Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, and Super Mario 3D World. Now, the Breath of the Wild, if you're not really too into that, go ahead and pick you up something like Mario Party or one of the other Mario games. But that's going to do it on this video. Hopefully it helped you guys decide if you're going to get a Nintendo Switch. Let me know down below what Switch you have. What's your opinion on the Nintendo Switch? Should you get one in 2024? And if you did like this video, hit the like button, click on the subscribe, follow me on my social media links down below because I'm going to be more active there. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.